Hello, everybody. Good morning. I wasn't on yesterday because I was actually really off schedule yesterday. I stayed up really late on Super Bowl weekend, hung out with some friends. Yes, I played in the mainstream yesterday or on Sunday. I enjoyed it. Was a little shocked by the Super Bowl halftime show, but actually it shouldn't shock me because that's kind of our society at this point. But whatever. But yesterday, yeah, I was sleeping in a little bit, and because I stayed up really late, then I got up really early, and just my sleep patterns were totally off. So I had to catch up. But anyways, been keeping track of all the different, just everything with the coronavirus, the novel coronavirus, not even just the coronavirus you find on the Lysol bottle. This is the novel coronavirus, which has very unpredictable characteristics that people are not going to be prepared for. And I had a feeling I probably came in contact with something like that a couple weeks ago, because I'll tell you what, I went through a major, where my body had to get out a bunch of mucus and was coughing up a storm. So I can only imagine those that are strong right now, okay, will be going through a major mucus event. So I'm going to give you a little background real quick as far as what people die from. What do people die from? They die from pneumonia. They die from a heart attack. They die from a stroke. They die from an aneurysm, as far as natural causes. Okay? So when you die from a pneumonia, what happens? You have so much fluid built up in your lungs because of an infection from a virus that got its way into there. And then antibodies, which is your body's immune system, accumulate. So fluid builds up. If you have a strong body where you're able to get everything out, then you'll be able to cough it out, spew it out. You'll see green and yellow and maybe even red. Some of you, you're watching these crazy contagion movies where people are throwing up red blood. Well, that's where you see blood tissue being torn because of the amount of force the body's trying to get rid of stuff, and it tears blood vessels. It bursts them. Okay? So if your body is under attack, especially the lungs, and you have weak lung issues, you'll drown in your own fluids. So when people die from pneumonia, like a Parkinson's person dies from pneumonia, or someone that has a very weak lungs, they will drown in their own fluids. What a way to go. Horrible way to go. You'll hear the gurgling. Okay? What's the other way someone dies from? They die from a heart attack and a stroke and aneurysms. Well, what do those all have in common? They have the blood system. They have the veins, the capillaries, the arteries. They have the cardiovascular system in common. What about the cardiovascular system? Well, guess what creates someone dying from a heart attack? It's when they have too much jetsam and flotsam, antigen, plaque, fat, fatty cells, fatty acid, as well as antibodies. So let me give you an example. When someone gets the wrong blood transfusion from an AB positive to an O negative, that's when people die because they have too much antibody accumulation, too much antigen. What is blood type A and B? Surface marker antigen A, surface marker antigen B, and then you have the Rh factor, which is a rhesus monkey gene. It's a type of DNA that creates antibodies, and some people test positive and some people test negative. That's where the Rh positive and the Rh negative come from. Okay, so antibodies is your environment. When you have too many antibodies, too many acids, too many minerals, too many hormones, imbalances, that's when you see antibodies start being created. So antibodies come from an imbalance in the body that the body's trying to counter, but it's like whatever imbalance took over and shut the organs down. So when someone dies from a heart attack, stroke, or an aneurysm, it's because there's not enough blood getting to the vital organs. And so what triggers a heart attack and stroke and aneurysm? Because you have weaknesses. Hold on a second. Oh gosh, why does it have to come on here? Give me 1 second. This thing just blocked me. All right, you have weaknesses. What causes heart attacks and strokes? If you have weaknesses, the body is going to do kind of like its own defibrillation. So a stroke, heart attack, and aneurysm, if you live through them, it's because you have enough electrolytes, enough nutrients and minerals to be able to carry you through that event. But it's letting you know it's a red flag. If you have a heart attack or stroke or an aneurysm, it's letting you know you have weaknesses, and it basically your body has its own defibrillation system. It's pulling from resources, your hair, skin, nails, and bones, but you only have so much if you're not fixing the weaknesses and then refilling the reserves. And then when you fix the weaknesses, you won't experience those events because the body will now be able to move freely, the blood will be able to move freely throughout the arteries and capillaries and the streams and everything is wonderful. But when someone has pre-existing conditions, okay, and they have the heart issues and the lung issues and all of that, and they get exposed to some aggressive virus. Now, viruses aren't bad inherently. They're just basically a new entity in the environment the body has to get used to. Strong bodies will be able to adapt to it. Weak bodies are going to have trouble adapting to those new aggressive things in the environment. They call it pathogens and toxins and pollutants, is because the body determines if it's a pollutant. What could be a pollutant to one person could be completely nothing to another person. That's why you have two different reactions to the same type of entity. Okay, so when the body sees something or body senses that there's a new thing in the environment, it will adapt to it nicely and you'll just be like, okay, whatever, asymptomatic, or you will have some kind of reaction. Okay, and that reaction is relative and predicated upon how strong your body is. So I'm trying to figure out and play with this. I'm in this group. It's a really good group. I mean, they're pretty funny people. And they're trying to get some good information on what's going on out there, because there's so much misinformation and people are doing, like, you know, all these school closures and all this and that. And people need to know, well, how do you prep for something like this? And I have my fans in there, you know, my people that support me, as well as people that hate me, but I have most of them blocked. So I only see like half of a conversation. So I'm like, whatever. But I don't want to give any health advice. I don't want to give any, I'm not trying to promote Jilly Juice in there. Someone though did promote Jilly Juice in there, and the people liked it. And then of course my trolls came in there and wanted to counter it, which is fine. People should have two sides of the same story. But what I'm really wanting to have people understand is the severity of the situation and how your body is going to hold up to it. Because that's what you have to first realize, how your body is going to hold up to it, and what do you have what it takes to be held up to something like the coronavirus, the novel coronavirus. And so what I'm saying is, if you have pre-existing conditions, then do whatever you can to quarantine yourself. If you have some kind of confirmation that the virus is somewhere in your environment, I mean, yeah, you could wear all the protective gear, but you know, it only do so much. You know, you really can't hide yourself away from a virus. So if you have pre-existing conditions in your vital organs, or you're battling some kind of pre-existing conditions, the chances are, if you get the virus, you're going to go through a major mucus event. Okay? And also, if you don't have pre-existing conditions, you will probably go through a major mucus event. Now, one person may survive it over another person. Why would a person not survive that mucus event? Well, they have such weaknesses in their body. Their pre-existing conditions are so extreme that they won't be able to fight off. How do you fight off something like that? How do you fight off a bacteria or a virus that is compromising your body? It's called letting the mucus flow. It's called coughing. It's like really just staying with it. Yeah, you have high fever. Yeah, you have coughing. You have mucus. And if you have a very weak body, you're not going to be able to really fight it off. So the thing you're going to turn to when you have a weak body is the Dayquils, the Mucinex, the painkillers, the herbs, the extracts, the detoxes, whatever it is that you have been used to anesthetizing yourself, numbing yourself whenever a symptom comes into play. Those are the people most likely will not survive if they already have pre-existing conditions, like major ones, and they get exposed to this coronavirus, and they're taking medications on top of that. You have now just compounded your issues exponentially. Because here's the thing, I'm going to read this. When you dry up the mucus and it still stays in your body, what is mucus made up of? It's made up of a lot of proteins, right? It's a slimy protein, but what does it have in it? It has the antibodies that are not actually adhering and docking to the host. This is what's supposed to be released from your body. This is what the body is able to pull from the body and release because it's too much. So what is IgA antibodies? So I'm gonna say, so I posted or I searched in Google antibodies and mucus. What is IgA antibodies? The major antibodies found on mucous membranes are secretory IgA, which function primarily by binding microorganisms and thereby preventing their contact with the host tissues. Analogs to bacterial receptors on mucosal epithelium may be present in exocrine secretions such as human milk. Okay? So yes, when you guys are drinking milk, which is no big deal because you have an immune system, so when you're doing the J juice, you may want to chill out on the milk. But as you get more stronger, it's fine to drink milk. Milk is not bad for you because you have a great immune system. But that's the thing, is that the major antibodies found on mucous membranes are secretory IgA, which functions primarily by binding microorganisms and thereby preventing their contact with the host tissues. Okay, as soon as you dry up the mucus in your body, because you're taking Mucinex and Dayquil and turmeric and honey and all these different types of antibiotics or mucus drying agents, you are now poisoning your body. And that's why people go into delirium. They go into all these different like brain fog and all this stuff because they're not releasing the excess, especially with something like this. So when somebody is already weak with major pre-existing conditions and they get in contact with aggressive virus such as this, and they take a bunch of mucus drying agents, most likely they've sealed their fate. They won't survive the next round of whatever event that they're going to possibly come in contact with. Because when you have too many antibodies in your body and you're not releasing at a faster rate than you're taking in, guess what? And you already have pre-existing conditions. Guess what? That's the straw that broke the camel's back. So if I go into this group and I'm trying to help these people out without promoting J juice so much, because I don't want to get into a debate about it, I'm going to say, hey, if you know you don't have pre-existing conditions or major ones, then let the mucus run freely. Just let it run freely. Blow your nose, fight it, fight it. Yeah, you're going to be stealing resources from your hair, skin, nails, and bones to fight off this infection, to be able to heal yourself, at least naturally, by utilizing the body's ability to heal itself. But you hope you have enough resources in your body to do it. That's the big question. So then a person that's really strong will have that event as well, but it may not be as severe. I had something like that where I was coughing all day long a couple weeks ago, and I have no idea what virus is in the environment, but coronavirus has been here for a bit, at least since December. Okay, so if me on J juice getting exposed to a virus, whether it's a flu virus or the novel coronavirus, and I was coughing up a storm and I was mucusing. I mean, my husband saw me that one day because we went to Outback Steakhouse, or even prior to that, because there's a 7 to 14 day incubation period. I don't know if it's a 3-day incubation period. There could have been, there could not have been. Maybe it is a 7 to 14 day if you have a very weak body, because now it's going and scanning the environment going like, oh, wow, they're having a field day. But if your incubation period is so short, maybe your body is that strong that it's able to detect something like that in the environment and be able to get rid of it that quickly. So, since all this information is based upon bodies that are very weak, I'm kind of now putting in my own spin on it based upon the conditions of my body, given I'm on the J juice and what I've experienced. So if I really was in contact with it at Outback Steakhouse on a Friday and then came down with that major virus attack for 24 hours where I was mucusing, that was about a 2 to 3 day incubation period. But me being strong, I knew what was going on. There was no headache. There was no congestion. There was nothing. I just was taking a nap. I was tired. I had a bunch of steak and whatever. I was tired, took a nap on Sunday, and woke up with the start like I was being choked to death. Now, if I had pre-existing conditions like a lung issue, I could have drowned in that rapid amount of fluid that was being built up. But my body was strong enough to release it. And I was blowing my nose. I mean, I was going through several washcloths because I have washcloths. You see this, I have a washcloth, okay? I always have one because whenever I go into different environments, I have to blow my nose. I don't like wiping my nose on my sleeve and all that crap. I just take it like this, like right now. And you see how aggressive I blow my nose. When I was a kid, I used to have bloody noses all the time because I had a lot of allergies in California because of the springtime and the acacia trees and the grasses and oh my gosh. And so I would always having nosebleeds because I was so determined to fight to get whatever antigen was in my body out of my body. So I was always sneezing so violently, blowing my nose so hard. And yeah, they had to try to cauterize my nose because it was just, I was blooding my nose all the time because of the amount of force that I was blowing my nose, because I knew that I wanted to survive. I came from Vietnam. I was fighting for my life. And so when you fight for your life, you blow your nose. You let the mucus get out, you cough, you get it out, you get it out, you get it out. That's how you're going to survive this. If not, that environment, that new virus is going to take over your environment and envelop you. And then the antibody accumulation is going to then tax your pre-existing conditions. So with the J juice, how does J juice come into this? J juice will support the body to be able to release the excess. It will give you the energizing force. So I wrote this. I'm going to read this thing that I wrote so you understand how this works. The reality is for all of you, at some point, I don't know when, is a big mucus event will be in some of your future. Good morning, Nana. In some of your futures. And you need to be strong enough to release those antibodies that's in the mucus. Jilly juice will help energize your immune system to do that. The salt is the electrolytes as well as the other minerals, okay? The probiotic is the lactic acid, and the micro and macronutrition is the hormones, okay? And then you have the water as the carrier force in and also the carrier force out. So if you have weak heart, weak lungs, weak brain, and you have major predispositions, and you've been exposed to this, I really, really hope that you do the J juice to help you to give you the strength to release the excess antibodies that could potentially trigger your predispositions in your heart, lungs, brain, liver, kidneys, all your vital organs. If you take holistic remedies, herbal remedies such as Dayquil, or not such as, but if you take holistic remedies or Dayquil, NyQuil, Mucinex, and all of that, you are essentially holding on to antibodies that will make your weaknesses even weaker and weaker, and you will potentially not be able to survive this attack. Okay? That is why people who have pre-existing conditions are being affected. That's why you see those people in China dropping like flies. When you already have predispositions and you have this virus that is running rampant and creating antibodies in your body, you're not going to survive because you don't have what it takes. I mean, some of these people are so skinny, and it seems I read or watched some of these YouTube videos where it actually attacks the Asian male. Anyone with a lot of receptors, I guess that's what it attacks. So the men are going to be more attacked than the women. But then the Asian males are very, very slight, very skinny. So so my husband, thank God, he doesn't take anything whenever he has a cold, which we had him a couple of months back. But he doesn't take any medication. He doesn't take any Mucinex or Dayquil. He just deals with it. He lets his body heal. I wish he would do more of the J juice, but he's kind of that guy where, if he has a headache, he'll take a freaking Tylenol. But when it comes to something like mucus, he doesn't take anything at all. He just lets his body go through the cycle. It has to run its course. And so he has enough minerals. He comes from very strong stock. So I have confidence that he's going to, it might be a little rough if he ever does come in contact, but I know he'll survive. But when you do the J juice, it's going to give you the minerals and the energizing force and the nutrients to be able to help you get that stuff out of your body, whether you're doing waterfalls or you're actually blowing your nose. Because I notice when I clear the pipes, I blow my nose and I poop. I don't even do waterfalls anymore. My system is that on par that it's able to eliminate the muscles in my colon and in my large intestine are so strong that's able to release what's in the body from the night before. Not from like last week or last year, but from the night before. My body is processing the food that I ate. How I know? Because I can see the colors. Okay. So So even at whatever stage you guys are in, as far as just observing the J juice world or in the J juice world, if you're not doing J juice, don't want to deal with the healing symptoms, okay. If you have what it takes to be able to fight it off yourself, don't take any medication, because nothing is going to work. Viruses have to run its course. Yes, if you are like if you are having some major complications like breathing issues, respiratory issues, or who knows what, go to the hospital, get the oxygen, and get the IV bags, the electrolytes, which are in the J juice, by the way, too. Okay, so I'm not saying don't get any medical help, just don't be taking the Mucinex, because it's not going to work. It's not going to help you. Okay, don't be doing any antibiotics, because it's not going to help you. There's nothing that kills viruses. There's things that will stop replication, which are the antivirals, but then they also stop good cell replication too. So essentially you're still weakening yourself. Okay, so if you do have major pre-existing conditions and you get exposed to this, that's where people go to the ICU, and then they go get on the respirators, and they're in quarantine, and they're getting intubations and all this other stuff, IV bags up the yin yang from the walls and the ceilings and everything else. And that's what you're seeing on these YouTube videos out there about the coronavirus in China. But if you are relatively healthy, relatively strong, you'll be able to fight it off if you have what it takes, if you don't have too many weak pre-existing conditions. But I'm concerned with those that have major pre-existing conditions not be able to survive this, because they won't have what it takes to get the mucus out. Okay, so with the J juice, you know, you'll get it out. You'll get out all the crap that you need to. But yeah, it's not just even getting the mucus out. You'll be healing other parts of your body that you may not be prepared to. So that's why I've now stuck to where, okay, I'm in this group where I'm not trying to promote J juice, because it's not about remedies, and I'm glad that they're not really promoting remedies. People do, and that's fine, whatever. But I'm not going to promote my J juice. But I will say this: I mean, if they want to look me up, they can look me up. I already got a little bit of press in there, anyways, from my stupid trolls. But really, what my advice is that if you are relatively strong, don't take anything to stop the mucus. Let the mucus come out. Let it out, let it out, let it out. Because that is the way your body is going to calibrate your ability to adapt to the environment. Okay? Because I'll tell you what, I'm concerned for a lot of you that are fighting predispositions. And this thing is no joke. Okay? This thing is no joke. And it does come out from nowhere. I mean, you have an incubation period, and all of a sudden it hits. Because I tell you, I was attacked in the middle of my sleep. Now, here's the thing. I've noticed my cycles as far as my body's like healing and processing. 3 o'clock in the afternoon and 3 o'clock in the morning is when my body goes through. And so if my body, like if I ate a food, or if I didn't get really great sleep, sometimes I'll take a nap around 3 o'clock. All of you have ever felt like you need to take a nap at 3 o'clock? That's the body's way of processing. Like every 12 hours, the body processes food and processes and heals and does this stuff. You know, we've been thrust with a 8-hour workday where it's during the day, not so much at night. But even if it's at night, you still have to work through the body processing. So when you get tired, it's the body trying to repair. So what happens is when people get tired during the day, they take a pick-me-up like a Starbucks or an energy drink. But in reality, when you get tired, it's the body trying to repair and process. And I noticed that at 3 o'clock, my dog and I both have to poop at the same time. 3 o'clock in the morning, my body wakes up at 3, between 3 and 4. I wake up and I pee. And so I know when my body processes stuff. So when you're tired, you take a nap if you can, and then your body's going through reparations, it's repairing itself. So if you are like on disability, or if you're home on vacation and you're doing the J juice, sleep is going to be your best friend, because the more you sleep while on the J juice, the more you get the rest, the more the body's able to repair itself. When people run themselves into the ground because they have to be so productive and so busy, and they have predispositions, they are accelerating the aging process. And then you see it in the hair, skin, nails, and the bones. The grain of the hair, balding, the losing the collagen. You just start seeing systematic gradual degradation. Okay? So sleep is paramount. if you've been exposed to this virus or know you're going to get exposed and you start feeling certain things, listen to your body. Take the rest. Okay? So everyone's going to have a different way of reacting to this new environment coming in, but you're going to have some kind of reaction. If I had a reaction to something like the flu or the coronavirus, the novel coronavirus that's in my environment, I never got it tested, so I have no idea. If I got a reaction, if I get reactions from changes in my environment, I can only imagine with those of you who are very new on the J-Juice, in the middle of J-Juice, or never done the J-Juice, what you're going to be experiencing. And it's not going to be fun. Okay? So, or you may not have any kind of, you may be asymptomatic, which could mean that you have an overactive immune system. But when you have an overactive immune system, that has its own issues, because that's rapid antibody accumulation. That will tax you. So there has to be a balance, and symptoms is the body's way of adapting. Okay, so yeah, my advice is let the mucus run freely. Don't try to dry it up. Don't try to stop it. Let it run its course. If you are in danger of not being able to breathe, or you're asthmatic, or you have issues, go to the hospital, get the support, get the oxygen, the fluids. Okay, and drink the J-Juice, because there's no antibiotic in the world, there's no turmeric and honey and all that crap in the holistic industry in the world that's going to help anyone through this event. Now it's between you and your maker. Do you have what it takes, or do you not have what it takes? This is the real judge, jury, and executioner. Mother Nature is the ultimate balancing force. Man-made law will kind of help give you some state of execution, kind of give you representation, you know, due process, but Mother Nature ultimately has the last say. And will you have what it takes, or will you not have what it takes? Those that are on J-Juice have built up their immunity, as well as built up the strength to be able to handle the new environments that are coming in. Those not on J-Juice will have to figure out where they stand. And they will see how they stand. And that's all I can say about that. So good luck to all of you. Here's the thing too, as far as prepping canned goods, I have no idea what's going to happen as far as how it's going to affect infrastructure, how it's going to affect, hey Emily, how it's going to affect everything out there. I have no idea. Before people start panicking, go to the grocery store, get the canned foods. Yeah, I got perishables, I know that, but I'm not anticipating the lights go out, but you never know. Then shit, I'll just go and get a barbecue and start barbecuing all of our meat or something. Okay, but get a bunch of canned meat, canned vegetables, you know, powdered milk if you want, powdered, reconstituted, whatever. But I can live off of Chef Boyardee. I've done it before. When my husband and I were in the truck for a few months, when he first started, we were living off of Chef Boyardee because we just started. He just started working for the trucking industry. So we were living off Chef Boyardee and in a warmer, eating out of the can. I will eat out of the can. I will eat cold ass canned food if it ever came down to that. I hope it doesn't, but we are in unprecedented times. You're not going to get major panic from the government because they don't want to lose commerce. But since there's a few of you on my Facebook that kind of see what's going on and you're recognizing indicators, go to the store and get a bunch of canned food. Okay, stuff that you know is going to last. It's better to be over-prepared than under-prepared. Okay? So why get canned food? Because you just don't know if everyone's going to go all at once to the grocery store and just completely decimate it once someone hears that the virus is in their town. You know, when you have 100,000 people going to all the grocery stores at the same time, okay? I mean, the truckers do a just-in-time loads. They don't do it. They don't have like all these stock in the back. They have just-in-time, the loads that come in on a weekly basis. So if you're out of food in 1 week and everyone's going crazy, you know? So now when everyone's still like kind of like, oh, it's not that bad, take advantage of people's lackadaisical attitude. Take advantage of that. Okay, because the worst thing happens, you have enough food for a long ass time and everything is great. But better to prepare and have enough food on hand in case everyone and their mother deluges on Walmart and Giant Eagle and Dollar General, whatever. Okay? Take advantage. Okay, you guys, have a great day. I got things to do. But just mark my words, you're going to be experiencing something. This virus is going to affect you in some way or another. Okay? And you have to prepare for it in body, mind, and spirit. If not, it's going to be a surprise. It's going to be a surprise. Thanks, Jackery. It's going to be a surprise. All right. Love you all. Good luck. Me going through all this bullshit the last couple of years prepared us for this day. Okay? For this month, for this time. The last 4 years have prepared us for the next decade. It's going to be a doozy. But those of you that are just starting, it's okay. You can still survive it. It's just going to be a little bumpy in the beginning, or a lot bumpy. Okay? But you can still do it. Oh yeah, and also as far as the salt, I'm thinking like, you know, with all of these different, I don't know how supply chains are going to be affected. I don't know how trade's going to be affected. I mean, Pakistan is right next to India, and India is close and compact, and then the virus is ending up in India and Asia and all that stuff. It hasn't hit Africa yet, or below in like South America, but maybe it just hasn't been detected. But here's the thing, okay? What was I saying? It hasn't. Oh yeah. Utah. If you're in America, that I know some of you are in like Australia. Hopefully there's maybe look for any salt mines in your areas. Okay, any local salt mines. We do have a company in Utah, Salt Lake City, that's called the Real Salt. Okay, and it's mined from a cave that has been untouched. Okay, which fine. That could be a backup. Okay. So if pink Himalayan salt is not being distributed because of supply chain issues, because of what's going on in Pakistan, if they have an event over there as far as the pandemic, and it interrupts that, then you need a backup as far as salt. And so the Real Salt from Utah would be a great backup. Okay? For those of you in different parts of your country, find the salt companies that mine salt that say that's been untouched for years or whatever. I mean, don't get a highly mineralized salt. You want more sodium than you want minerals. You want minerals, yes, but you want sodium. Sodium is the thing that you want in the salt, not just minerals, but the sodium. Okay? So that's a backup in case things get really cattywampus. So that's, you know, I'm just planning ahead because I know that, well, I don't know. I mean, you can't predict. So you got to have your plan A, B, C, D, and F, and G. All right. So, yeah, so just see if you can, stock away salt too. All right. And good luck to y'all. This is going to be interesting. I don't know, but get on YouTube. There's so many videos out there. There's a group that I do belong to that I will put the group name down here. My trolls figured out where it was, so I don't really care. If anyone wants to talk smack to me, I just block them. The admins know who I am because they've probably seen the threads. The people talking smack. So I'm just going to put it. I didn't put it out there to begin with because I didn't really feel like dealing with trolls. And I did post something to where someone did say, "Oh yeah, Jeff said hi." I'm like, oh Jesus. Can I have a place where I could just say something without my freaking trolls saying something? This is called Coronavirus 2019 Death Boat. And yeah, there's a lot of people saying some stuff. It's going to trigger you because, yeah, we have some people that are very raw in their expression. And if you don't like something, just, you know, scroll past it. There's going to be very, very caustic, what you think is racist type remarks, but it's not. People are just making jokes because what are you going to do? It's you got to have levity. You really do. And so if you get offended, then get out of the group. If you get offended, then scroll. But there's a lot of good information in there. that and the guy that runs it, he's really cool. Him and a girl, Brandy, and the guy that runs it, really cool people. So it's a private group. Oh, I wonder. Oh, it's a private. I wonder if you can search for it. It's private. You probably can't search for it. So, but it's called Coronavirus 2019-NCOV Death Boat. I'll just put the, I don't know if the link will work. I'll just put the name of it. And if it's searchable, maybe, I don't know. Copy. Let's see. But, and I'm in there a lot, just posting some stuff and even, you know, contributing to conversations, because people don't know really what's going on. And if I can give a little bit of advice without completely being obvious about my protocol, because I don't want to push that down anybody's throat, because that's just not my position in that place. I want to be able to really keep track of the information, because that's what it's about, is keeping track of information and seeing through the downplay, and then also helping people prepare, because we need to prepare for this. So let's see if that's, so I don't know if that'll bring it up or not, but yeah. So so the chance of you guys surviving is relative to your predispositions, relative to all of that. And so for those that are newly joining, if you replay this video, I do talk about a real quick recap. If you are weak with predispositions in your heart, in your vital organs, and you get exposed to something like this, if you are not strong enough and you're taking medications and you're taking Mucinex and Dayquils and all of that, you're going to compound the issue and potentially not survive. Because what it is, it's antibody accumulation. And when you have antibody accumulation, it will trigger heart attacks and strokes and dying from pneumonia, because of the amount of rapid fluid that builds up in your lungs that people drown from. So you really want to be able to release this excess, release it through the mucus, because the antibodies that are excess is based upon imbalances in the body, which is the fatty acid, amino acid, prohormones, and minerals. That's where antibodies come from. It's called antigen. Antigen is not any one specific poison. Antigen is any kind of excess the body determines that it's too much of. When you have imbalances in your fatty acids, amino acids, prohormones, and minerals, the way the body balances out and destroys it is with antibodies. But when you have too many antibodies, it destroys the body. Okay? So that's why they call it antibody. And then when people take antibiotics, it destroys that and destroys bacteria, but also destroys you. Okay? And so that's why no antibiotic is going to work with any virus. There is nothing that kills viruses. Antivirals are just things that manage symptoms, so they're not as extreme. But if you have predispositions and then you're trying to stop the symptoms, you're trying to stop the body from releasing the excess, you're essentially harboring excess antibodies in your body, and you're suppressing your immune system, and then which will cause more issues and compound the issue. And then one day when the body least expects it, it will die from a heart attack and stroke, because you won't have what it takes to fight off and release the excess. And that's why J juice is so revolutionary, because it releases the excess. It doesn't dehydrate you, it releases and repairs. That's what people have misunderstood about the J juice. They think, oh, you're diarrhea. Well, if you want to hold on to your shit, well, that's going to do you in. If you want to hold on to your mucus, that's going to do you in. You know, why do people have all these different types of weaknesses and predispositions and issues and paranoia and mental health issues and all that? Because they've been holding on to antibodies and shit their whole life they haven't released, and it's causing major anomalies and misfirings and hormonal imbalances, and then you're seeing aberrant behavior. So, and that's what I've dealt with throughout this whole process with the J juice, people who have aberrant behavior that don't want to fix themselves, and they don't like anyone giving them new information because they can't be exposed to a new environment because they don't have what it takes. Jilly juice is like a new environment. It's new information. And if it makes your head explode, then you obviously don't have what it takes to handle this coronavirus. And now I'm seeing some people come back to the Jilly juice because they're seeing this looming virus on the horizon. And now they're like, okay, now I want to do the J juice. At the 11th hour, do you have what it takes to do the J juice? You didn't have what it took a long time ago when it was all easy and fun to make fun of me. Fun to say that Jillian's crazy. But now that you're going to face this virus right there and you have predispositions and all these issues, you think you're going to have what it takes to heal? Because not just releasing the mucus and everything, which is what the JJs are going to help you do, is release the mucus and release the poop in your system that also holds on to antibodies. But you have to heal the parts of your body that you're not prepared to heal. And then you'll be like, oh, Jillian hurt me. Jillian hurt me. Sorry, honey, but you took your life way too cavalier. You didn't take your life seriously. It's easier to be drinking alcohol and taking all your pills, powder, supplements, and pretending like nothing's ever going to hurt you until one day you can't escape this. There is no pill in the world to stop this coronavirus event, this novel coronavirus event. Now it's between you and your maker. Do you have what it takes? And I know I sound like I'm gloating, but this is like vindication. Right now, what's going on right now is vindication. Because I'm not gonna have any problem with this coronavirus event. I'm not gonna have any problem being exposed to it. I don't even need to wear a mask. I have no issue with this new virus, but a lot of you are going to have issue with it. A lot of you. And you will see if you have what it takes. I've been telling you guys for the last 3 freaking years, you guys, these viruses on weak bodies, cancer, disease, and chronic illness is basically a red flag letting you know you have antibody accumulation, you have imbalances in your fatty acid, amino acid, prohormones, and minerals. And every single time you get exposed to a virus, it's going to compound the issue until you actually are able to release and then fix the weakness at the cellular level. Oh no, you're stupid, Jillian. You're not a freaking doctor. You're this, Jillian. You're that. You're crazy. You're mentally ill. I mean, I basically suffered the abuse from family, from friends, from everybody. So now you guys are going to be faced with, why didn't you take me seriously? Oh, because I'm not a doctor. You don't have to be a doctor to understand how to read. If you know how to read and make connections and know scientific concepts, that's enough. So now it's all up to you to figure it out. I'm still trying to give you the best information possible, even if you don't want to do the J juice. If you don't want to do the J juice, just don't take any medications unless you feel that you are in that much dire straits and you go to the hospital and they'll put you on oxygen. They don't give you any medication in the hospital. They put you on oxygen or they put you on IV fluids. What's in those IV fluids? Sodium, chloride, glucose, also known as electrolytes. Oh, that's in the J juice. And you get the probiotics and the micro and macronutrition. So you're getting more in J juice than you would get at a freaking hospital. Oh, but no, Jillian's stupid. Yeah, okay. We'll see who's stupid. But I'm mad because people have treated me so horribly. And I've done nothing to them except give them new information. So now I have vindication. I have no fear of this coronavirus, none at all. But I'm going to help you try to survive it if you have what it takes. You may not have what it takes, and that's not my problem. I gave you this information a long time ago. So if you don't have what it takes, that's on you, not on me. You're not even doing the J juice. You can't even blame the J juice. And I don't want anyone taking the J juice in reaction to this event because you won't understand it. So J juice is a support, no different than going to the hospital and getting IV bag full of glucose and sodium chloride and oxygen. J juice it's not an antibiotic. It's a supporting type of structure to strengthen your body to be able to handle and fight off and release the excess. That's all J juice does. It's not a medication. It's not a cure. It's not going to suppress your symptoms. It is a supporting type of chemistry that's going to regenerate cells, but fix the weaknesses and then strengthen your body to be able to cough out the crap. When you see someone cough out a big gob of green goo, that is an infection that could metastasize and turn into freaking cancer for some people. When you release the green and yellow goo out of your throat and your lungs, deep in your lungs, you've just saved yourself probably, you gave yourself 10 years. Maybe, I don't know. I mean, that's obviously a stretch. But I'm just saying that's the power of J juice, is to be able to release the excess and then fix the weaknesses. That's it. It does nothing else but that. But that's all you need. Okay? We're not trying to stop the symptoms. We're trying to strengthen your body so you can handle and adapt to your environment, especially something as aggressive as this damn virus that's taking down people who have so many predispositions, pre-existing conditions. That's why they say in these drug commercials, you know, if you recently had a vaccine, if you recently had this, don't take this. Well, why is that? Because if you already have major issues and you get a virus, even an introduction to, you know, an attenuated version of the virus, that will cause the body to go into antibody accumulation. Some people can't afford to. Many of you can't afford to have rapid antibody accumulation, but you're gonna, because the body is going to be introduced to something that's never been introduced before, and it's going to go into rapid antibody accumulation. And now, do you have what it takes to release it? Or are you going to dry it up and have it basically poison your body because you're not releasing it? So that's what you're faced with, is do you know how your body works and why? And anyone that goes to the drugstore and gets Mucinex, Dayquil, NyQuil, all of those things don't have no idea how their freaking body works. And they wonder why they are and where they are in the position that they're in. And I've been telling you for the last 3 freaking years, oh, but no, don't listen to Jillian until something like this happens. And now I have something to say. Well, okay, I'll take it. Sometimes you have to have an event, a heart attack, a stroke, or something like this unprecedented virus to wake your ass up. But I hope it's not too late. I hope it's not too late for a lot of you. But I have a feeling it's going to be. And I've resigned myself to the fact that, yes, it's going to be too late for some people. And there's nothing I can do. How many people around you have dropped from or have been triggered by heart attacks and strokes? Not on JJ's, but you're seeing your friends get these things triggered. A lot. I see it all over my Facebook. Well, it's not just, oh, yeah, the body said one day it's going to do it. No, these things are reacting. When you get a heart attack and stroke, it reacts to the environment. When you have something like a flu virus or a coronavirus, novel coronavirus in the environment, it will trigger those pre-existing conditions. You won't see on your death certificate, oh, they died from the coronavirus. You'll never see anything on a death certificate, the person died from a virus. They died from natural causes. Or they'll say, yeah, they died from a stroke. They died from a heart attack. She died peacefully overnight in her sleep. You know why in your sleep? Because that's when the body goes through its reparations overnight. And then when people get heart attacks and they live through it, they're in the hospital early in the morning because that's when the body was doing reparations. Or in the afternoon around 3 o'clock when the body's going through reparations. Okay? But you'll never see they died from a virus. They died from a stroke, a heart attack, a brain aneurysm. Because correlation doesn't mean causation. Now, if they went and did a titer test, they could see how many rapid antibodies, but most likely, most people, most next of kins do not ask for a titer test on the death of their loved ones, because they're too grief-stricken. They just want to, end it, or they want to have closure. But I can tell you now, if people are starting to drop it like flies now, go ask them, see if they'll test your deceased person's. If it's a family member, ask them for a titer test and test for the coronavirus, the novel coronavirus. And if there's a lot of antibodies that are way overabundant and they test positive, and they never had that before because it's never been introduced before, then you could say correlation equals causation. But prior to knowing about the novel coronavirus, if you did a titer test, you're not going to know which one of those viruses was the catalyst to that heart attack, to that stroke, to that pneumonia that you died from. Because there's too many factors. You've been exposed to too many things, and you're so weak anyways, there's no way to determine which one was the catalyst. And then whatever food you had that created that antibiotics. Let's say you have an imbalance in your fatty acids, and you ate a fried chicken, and it caused a heart attack, and then you died from that. Well, they're not going to go in and say, okay, we got to see if that piece of fried chicken. No, it's going to be the fact that you already have predispositions, heart attacks and you have fatty acid issues, because these are the 3 things your body's made up of. This is biodiversity. Plus it's in the bacteria. This is in the plants, humans, and animals and insects. This is biodiversity. You're all basically equated to fatty acid, amino acid, prohormones, and minerals. And all the food supply in the air and everything is basically equated to, narrowed down to, fatty acid, amino acids, prohormones, and minerals. And if you don't know how to calibrate and balance out your biochemistry, guess what? Overabundance in any one of these will be overabundance in all. And that's where you get antibody accumulation. And then you have predispositions. Now you're a recipe for disaster when something more aggressive comes into the environment. So you're not going to know what people die from. You just know that oh yeah, they die from natural causes, but not from the coronavirus, because it's not going to be on the death certificate. They died from the novel coronavirus. They died from a heart attack or stroke or pneumonia. Okay? That's how it works. When someone dies from natural causes because of antibody accumulation triggering those specific things like heart attack, stroke, aneurysm. And so, yeah. So anyways, that's how it works. That's what people die from. They don't die from freaking chili juice because it's basically minerals, but you have predispositions and antibody accumulation. And then your lifestyle will determine how much of the antibody accumulation will build up and how much you can release. And then you can blame everyone you want, but the responsibility ultimately lays within you. So good luck, you all. Good luck. I'm doing the best I can. I did the best I can to give you guys and research such a way to help you guys out. And now it's the 11th hour. And I hope you guys can handle the environment. I really do. I pray to everything that you guys will have what it takes to survive this next event. And it's a doozy. All right? So good luck. I'm going to go do some things, but good luck. All right.